9-year-old Apio's parents died from AIDS 4 years ago. Her grandmother took care of her until she passed away. The little girl who has HIV was living at a now shuttered orphanage in the northern Ugandan city of Gulu. Apio is now cared for by her legal guardian, Jeffrey, who has 4 kids of his own.
There's a lot of pressure, but I'm trying hard to make sure my family and the child I'm taking care of, they're all okay.
Valerie was the manager of one shelter that shut its doors. The orphanage was home to children who lost their parents to AIDS and war.
The government of Uganda does not want the children to grow up in the children's home. We resettle the children with their guardians, their aunties, some of them their uncles, or even their elder siblings.
Many in Uganda worry the closure of some 600 orphanages will put children out on the streets without the basic skills for survival. UNICEF says there are 2.5 million orphans in Uganda and 153 million worldwide. The charity Hope and Home says children living in orphanages are 40 times more likely to have a criminal record and 500 times more likely to commit suicide. Researchers say children who grow up in orphanages suffer physically, intellectually, and emotionally. The quality of life of orphans in Uganda is what's worrying the Commissioner for Youth and Children's Affairs. He's overseeing the closure of orphanages that don't meet the government's criteria.
We have also learned that many of these orphanages are being used as routes to traffic our children out of the country. Unsuspecting parents just leave their children to be taken on by anybody under the guise of helping them, and in the end, those children are suffering.
One of the licensed homes in Gulu is St. Jude. It's home to more than 90 orphans.
Orphanage is really not the best place for the children to grow up in, but also it has the advantages for the children, because some of the children without the orphanage, they wouldn't have studied.
While living with family is the ideal situation for orphans, licensed shelters can help. St. Jude says some of the children who've grown up in their home have turned out to be productive and successful people with university educations and fulfilling careers. Chaderjian, Al Jazeera.